All right, let's get into this because you are not ready for the roller coaster that is the cabin in the woods. Imagine being so pushed to the edge that the only way out is to stage your own gruesome murder and frame your picture perfect, filthy, rich husband for it. And the wildest part, he had it coming. So, picture this. A woman is hiding out in a rickety, freezing cold cabin in the middle of nowhere. She's gaunt, terrified, and so paranoid she's strung up tin cans on a wire as a makeshift alarm system. This is our girl, Rose Reid. But she wasn't always like this. Not too long ago, she was a glamorous NYC socialite married to the charismatic and politically ambitious Ryan Reid. So how did she end up here, looking like a ghost and jumping at every shadow? Well, her story is a masterclass in how a fairy tale can rot from the inside out. Let's rewind. Rose's childhood was a nightmare, straight out of a cautionary tale. She and her little sister Daisy were basically raising themselves in a grimy trailer while their parents chased their next heroin fix. We see this gut-wrenching flashback of them hiding in a closet while their dad, high and angry, rages through the trailer. Rose has been a survivor from day one, shoplifting hot dogs just so she and Daisy could eat. She's tough, she's resilient, and her whole world revolves around protecting her little sister. Flash forward, and Rose is a waitress putting herself through Columbia University. She's brilliant and driven, determined to write a new story for herself. And then, in walks Prince Charming. Ryan Reid is everything: handsome, wealthy, powerful, and completely smitten with her. He sweeps her off her feet, showers her with gifts, and makes her feel safe for the first time in her life. He even orders for her on their first date, which, okay, is a tiny bit of a red flag, but she's so overwhelmed by his charm, she just goes with it. 6 months later, they're married on a beach in the Bahamas. She moves into his massive Westchester mansion, and it seems like she's finally gotten her happily ever after. Of course, there's a wicked stepmother figure, Ryan's mom, Gloria, who looks at Rose like she's something she scraped off her shoe and even tried to pay her off to disappear. But with Ryan by her side, Rose feels invincible. That feeling is put to the test at their wedding reception when Daisy, who Rose hasn't seen in years, crashes the party. She's a mess, drunk, high, and making a huge scene in front of all of Ryan's high society friends. It's Rose's worst nightmare come to life. But Ryan, ever the hero, handles it with incredible grace. He calmly escorts Daisy out, slips her some cash, and sends her on her way before returning to a mortified Rose, telling her not to care what anyone thinks. And in that moment, she falls even more in love with him, completely blind to the fact that he's not a prince. He's a monster wearing a very convincing mask. Back in the present, Rose is forced to venture out of her cabin for supplies. The journey across the frozen lake is terrifying, but what she finds at the local store is even worse. She sees her own face staring back at her from a newspaper, declaring her a missing person who escaped from a psychiatric hospital and is a danger to the public. She steals the paper and rushes back, her world shrinking even more. The article details her rags to riches life, and reading it, she's haunted by the past. A few years after the wedding, Daisy shows up again, claiming to be sober. Rose, despite being burned before, lets her in. Daisy is homeless, so Rose invites her to stay. Ryan is again surprisingly cool with it, but Rose wakes up the next day and Daisy is gone. This becomes a pattern, a ghost from a life Ryan wants her to forget. The real cracks in the fairy tale begin to show after the birth of their daughter, Sienna. The pregnancy is hard, and the birth is a traumatic emergency C-section. Rose is plunged into a severe postpartum psychosis. She feels nothing for her baby but resentment and terror. She can't soothe her, can't bond with her, and she sinks into a deep, dark depression, becoming addicted to the Ambien that Ryan's mother's doctor so easily prescribes. One night after finally reconnecting with Ryan intimately, she sees deep, angry scratch marks down his back. And right there, the first seed of a terrible suspicion is planted. Is he cheating on her? Ryan discovers her pill addiction and, under the guise of helping her, has her committed to a fancy mental hospital. He's isolating her, cutting her off, all while playing the part of the concerned husband. Then the past comes back with a vengeance. Daisy shows up one last time, a wreck of a person, and she drops the bomb that shatters Rose's world completely. She accuses Ryan of raping her the night she stayed with them years ago. Rose, in denial and conditioned to see Daisy as a liar, doesn't believe her. She screams at her, throws her out of the house, and chooses her perfect life with her perfect husband over her broken sister. It's a choice that will haunt her forever because it's the last time she ever sees Daisy alive. The final piece of the puzzle clicks into place 6 months ago at a glamorous Police Foundation gala. Rose is playing the part of the doting wife, but inside she's dying, consumed by the certainty of Ryan's affair. A beautiful young woman named Isabel approaches her, saying she needs to talk to her about Ryan. Before she can, Ryan swoops in and whisks Rose away. Later, Isabel corners Rose in the bathroom and tells her the horrifying truth. Ryan isn't just a cheater, he's a serial rapist. He preys on vulnerable women, like Isabel's cousin Angela, a maid at one of his family's hotels. He assaulted Angela, who later died by suicide. And here's the sickest part. He takes trophies, IDs, jewelry, underwear from his victims. My jaw was on the floor. He's a full-blown psychopath. This revelation, combined with Daisy's accusation, finally forces Rose to see the truth. Her perfect husband is a monster. She flees the gala in a taxi, rushes home, and breaks into Ryan's safe. The code? 0128, the date of the presidential inauguration in 2028. Yes, his ego is that massive, and inside she finds it. A black box filled with the stolen IDs of his victims. And at the bottom, the blue silk pajama top she gave Daisy. It's all real. Just then, Ryan storms home. Rose grabs Sienna, who had woken up, and the box of evidence, and makes a run for it in her car. What follows is a terrifying car chase in the dark. Ryan, in a rage, rams her SUV repeatedly, not knowing Sienna is in the back. Rose loses control and smashes into a tree. Sienna, who had wriggled out of her car seat, is thrown from the car and killed instantly. Rose wakes up in the hospital with amnesia from a head injury. Ryan is there and he weaves the ultimate lie. He tells her she was high on Ambien and drunk, that she threatened suicide, and that she deliberately crashed the car, killing their daughter. With no memory and a history of mental illness, Rose has no defense. The evidence is falsified, the police are in his pocket, and she's coerced into a plea deal that lands her in Cross Hill, a grim state psychiatric prison where she's kept heavily sedated so she can never remember or tell the truth. But they underestimated her. In Cross Hill, a news report jogs her memory, and with the help of Isabel, who gets an internship at Ryan's law firm and visits her in disguise, she hatches a desperate, brilliant plan. She stages a riot to steal a security pass and escapes. Isabel is waiting for her, and together, they go back to the mansion. Rose can't bring herself to kill Ryan, so they do the next best thing. They stage Rose's murder in the garage. It's a gruesome, bloody scene. Rose slices open her own arms, smearing her blood everywhere, on the floor, on Ryan's car, in the trunk. They plant the murder weapon, a knife from the kitchen, and then Isabel drives her to the remote cabin to hide. In the present, her infection worsens, forcing to seek help. This leads her to Gwen, the store owner, who, moved by her own family tragedy, becomes her fierce protector. She also meets Jake, a local hunter who seems to see the pain behind her paranoia. But her luck runs out. The couple who helped her on the frozen lake turn her in for the reward money. The police raid the cabin and arrest her. It seems like it's all over. She fakes a suicide attempt in jail to get transferred to a hospital, buying herself a few precious days. There she connects with a sympathetic doctor, Dr. Karuna, and Isabel visits again, disguised as a nurse's aide. They have one last desperate hope, finding another of Ryan's victims who is willing to talk. Rose remembers a name from the box, Diane. Just as orderlies from Cross Hill arrive to drag her back to that hellhole, Ryan shows up at the hospital to gloat. He leans over her bed and in a chilling monologue admits to everything. The rapes, the frame-up, Sienna's death, all while Rose is secretly recording him on a hidden phone. And in that exact moment, everything changes. On the hospital lobby TV, the news breaks. Isabel found Diane. She's gone public. And then they play the audio from Rose's phone. It's over for him. The entire lobby, full of people, turns to stare at him. The mask is gone. Panicked, Ryan makes a run for it, bolting out of the hospital and directly into the path of an oncoming ambulance. Rose walks out and stands over him as he lies broken in the street, by making sure her face is the last thing he ever sees. 6 months later, Rose is free. She's living in the now renovated cabin, writing a children's book, and has used every cent of Ryan's fortune. which she inherited because she never signed the divorce papers and destroyed his will, to start the Rose and Sienna Lewis Foundation, funding Isabel's new legal aid center for abused women. She's healing, surrounded by real friends, and maybe, just maybe, finding a new beginning with Jake. She took a life built on lies and turned it into a legacy of justice. So, here's what I'm left wondering. Is revenge ever truly justice, or is it something else entirely? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you like this wild ride, you know what to do. Hit that like button and maybe subscribe for more. You won't want to miss what we break down next.